G'day folks, this is Shane. Today I'm going to show you if there's an audible difference between an actual SM57 in front of my Marshall and using my 2 notes torpedo, but actually bypassing the speaker and using Celestion's very own IR or impulse response. So this is a very accurate representation of the speaker, and we're going to see if we can digitally get the same sort of results as actually having the mic in front of the amp. Now you might be asking, why would you want to do that? Volume. The 2 notes torpedo is arguably one of the best recording tools. It essentially just takes the load of your amplifier, you set up or you install a third-party IR like I did with the Celestion one, and then you've essentially got what they consider to be an almost identical tone. So I want to see this for myself. What sold me on this particular pack was their own video. So these sort of videos work on me as well. This pack of IRs wasn't a free gift or anything like that. So I've chosen one, and we're going to see how they sound, and I've got a 57 as well. I don't usually record my amps with a 57, but this particular impulse response was with SM57. So we're going to give it a shot. I'm going to play the same things, hopefully twice. And I've got my Little Crow Raven electric guitar back from the shop, so it's been modded with a different switch here, which is really cool. So I'm going to play a couple of things clean, and then we're going to go over to the dirty channel as well and see how it sounds. I have the amp on 20 watt mode just because it's not quite as loud as 40 watt mode. So my EQ compared to how I normally run the amp is a little bit different, but it shouldn't make any difference when we go over to the 2 notes. So this is the amplifier to start with. Alright, so I thought what I'd do right now is something a little bit different. I'll give you my reaction just listening back. And the one thing I have to take into account is the levels. Now the mic looks a little hotter than the 2 notes was. It's easy fixed. I could have just turned up the gain. But in post, all I'm going to do is bring up and down sections to make them match volume-wise, to give you the best sense of how they sound in the actual video. This part, I'm actually not going to touch. I just want to sort of have a quick listen and sort of gauge what I'm hearing. So this is the little wingish section. Now, there's one thing I can hear in that I'm just going to point out is my amp has a slight rattle in it. I might have to tighten up one of the baffles. Let's go over to, I think, the little wing. Now, I actually did 3 different takes. I did one take and I left a little bit of EQ on the 2 notes, but then I did it again with turning it off. So what you're about to hear now is the little wing section with the EQ off. So it's dead flat as the IR was intended. It is very, very similar. I think the most noticeable difference, so another listen. Wow, it is very, very close. The only audible difference I'm hearing, let's have one more listen before I comment. Now that part where I kind of dig in, I'm wondering if I'm hearing a little more sort of saturation or not. It sounds so close. I can't really tell these apart. If someone blindfolded me and played each part, I would have a hard time telling them apart. I don't know if I even can listening back. It's because I already know which one's which. It makes it easier for me to determine what I think I'm hearing. But in a blindfold test, or if I waited a week and played these back, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. They're very, very close. So anyone who tells you if you use a 2 notes torpedo for recording and it's not legitimate, if you have the correct IRs, it's definitely going to be legitimate. So Celestion, good job, man. I actually paid for these full price. This wasn't a deal for the channel or anything like that. I wanted to capture the best impulse response, accurate representation I could of the speaker that's in my Marshall so I can do recordings. And this is so close. It sounds great on clean. Just quickly now, I thought I'd take a listen to some of the lead parts as well. Let's take a listen to the actual speaker. It's pretty fat sound. Let's have a listen to the impulse response. All right, so I'm hearing a difference, but this could just be mic placement. Where they actually positioned the microphone in front of the speaker when they captured the IR might be different to where I actually had the microphone in front of the amplifier. So I'll tell you why it sounds brighter, and I think I know what they've done. Just after recording for so many years, I can already tell that they've pretty much put the actual microphone in front of the middle or center of the cone. It might be back of here, but it feels like it's that center type sound, which I don't normally go for, but that's a pretty common thing. Most guys will just chuck a mic directly in the front of their speaker, right in the middle of the cone. I don't do that. I usually go up towards the edge, which is what I've done when I actually recorded my guitar part. So if I was to lower the actual microphone down into the center of the cone or thereabouts, you know, somewhere a little lower than where it is, then it might sound brighter, or it will sound brighter. It's just one of those things. So I think the impulse response might have been captured with the mic pretty much dead center of the cone. So it feels a little brighter, but it's nothing you can't sort of shave off with a little bit of EQ. And that's with everything dead flat on the 2 notes. I didn't add any enhancements or anything like that. So what you're hearing is the actual IR as it is, with no extra processing, with exactly the same settings to the speaker. Thanks for watching, guys. My name's Shane. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So what do I think of this particular pack? I think it's great. It works great with the 2 notes. It really accurately represents the speaker that's in the amp, and that's all I wanted. I wanted a really accurate recording sound where people or myself couldn't actually hear a difference. If I could hear a huge difference, I wouldn't be using the pack. This pack is, I think, a bit of a step up from the ones you can actually just buy through 2Notes. I feel like this is probably the closest, most accurate representation of this particular speaker that I've heard. So thumbs up from Celestion. Like I said, this is not a sponsored video or anything like that. I bought the pack. I'll put some links down in the description. They're not affiliate links or anything. If you want to check them out, you can. And yeah, overall, I'm pretty impressed. And like I said, if I wanted to get the exact sound, I would probably mic my amplifier up dead center with the 57, and it would be just that little bit brighter to match what you were hearing on here. Or you can just do some post-production and drop off a little bit of the top end. But either way, I think this is great. I hope that's explained a little bit about why I also use the 2Notes Torpedo. It's a really great tool, especially doing what I do, where you don't want to be super loud and just, you know, obliterating your ears day in and day out. It's just almost impossible to do that, or at least without the cops coming around anyway. So it's good. It's a really great tool. And if you've got an amplifier and you want to record it and get sort of like your sound with pedals and all that kind of stuff going into your amp, then out into the computer, the 2Notes is definitely a really cool tool as well. So thanks again for watching, folks. If you do have any questions or comments, leave them below. Let me know which one you like the best, and if you could hear a difference through your headphones or studio monitors or iPhone speakers as well, let me know what you think. And yeah, I'm pretty impressed. I've been waiting to do this test for a little while. I've had this pack for probably 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, a month or something like that. I was like, you know what? It sounded pretty accurate to me, but actually hearing it in a straight up comparison, I couldn't be happier. So let me know your thoughts. Thanks again, guys. Catch you soon. See ya.